I'm Taylor. Sitting here in the dimly lit conference room, staring at the signed settlement papers in front of me. I can't believe it's finally over. The weight that has been pressing on my chest for the past few months is slowly lifting, but the pain and betrayal still linger. It all started 9 months after my husband Ethan passed away. Ethan and I ran a property management company together, and my younger sister Lily worked as a consultant. Ethan was a meticulous planner, always labelling everything with his trusty label maker. He was the one who kept the company organised and running smoothly. I handled the day-to-day operations, relying on his guidance and support. One Sunday, while I was sitting in the church trying to focus on the sermon about walking through the valley of sorrow, my phone vibrated. It was the contractor, Miguel, whom I'd hired on Friday to check a strange gas smell in the garage behind Ethan's old office. His voice was urgent. "Taylor, you need to come home right now. I found something hidden behind the wall, and you have to come alone." I slipped out of the church, my heart pounding. The 9-minute drive home felt like an eternity. When I arrived, Miguel led me into the garage. The big metal tool chest that usually sat against the back wall had been pulled away, and there were fresh drag marks on the floor. He pointed to a section of drywall that had been cut out, revealing a recessed cabinet. Inside the cabinet was a fireproof lockbox. On top, there was a white label printed from Ethan's label maker, reading, "Emergency for Taylor only." My hands trembled as I opened the box. Inside were stacks of cash, a thick manila envelope stuffed with papers, a USB drive labelled "Evidence Password Protected," and a letter. I unfolded the letter with shaking hands. The first line hit me like a punch to the gut. "Taylor, if you're reading this, I'm gone and I didn't get to finish this. Your sister Lily has been stealing from our company for the past 4 years." I couldn't believe my eyes. Lily, my sweet younger sister, whom I'd always protected and loved. I forced myself to read on. Lily had created a fake consulting company, Rose Consulting LLC, and billed our company monthly for services she never performed. She'd also tried to frame me by forging my signature on vendor contracts and creating fake emails from my account. Ethan had caught her in 2020 and gave her 6 months to pay back the money. But she didn't pay a single dollar and instead forged more documents. Ethan had built this cabinet with a mechanism. If someone tried to force it open without knowing how, it would shift the gas line slightly, creating a slow leak over a few weeks. That's what had triggered the gas smell I'd noticed. The USB password was something only Ethan and I knew, our most private pain, the loss of our baby Ava. In 2015, I sat in the cold garage surrounded by the evidence of my sister's betrayal. I couldn't cry. I was too stunned. I remembered how close Lily and I used to be. We'd grown up together, sharing secrets and dreams. But now, she betrayed me in the worst possible way. I took the lockbox, the letter, the cash, and the statements inside to the kitchen table. I tried to open the USB, but I couldn't remember the password at first. I tried all the obvious choices, our wedding date, my birthday, Ethan's birthday, but nothing worked. By midnight, I was desperate. I called my best friend Maya. She'd been with me through thick and thin, from our college days to my wedding and Ethan's funeral. She came over immediately. We spread out the bank statements on the table and started to go through them. The pattern was clear. Every month there were payments to Rose Consulting LLC, and the amounts added up to a staggering $412,890 over 4 years. Lily had been billing our company for services that were never provided. The service descriptions were vague and corporate sounding, but in reality, they meant nothing. Maya, who worked as an administrator at the county recorder's office, offered to look up Rose Consulting the next day. That night, I received a text from my mother, Helen. "Can't sleep. Thinking about you. Have you gone through Ethan's things yet? Call me when you can." The timing felt strange, too coincidental. The next morning, my mother called. She asked if I'd cleaned out Ethan's office, and when I asked why, she said it might help bring closure. She also suggested that if I found anything unusual, I should talk to Lily first because she understood the financial side better. I started to suspect that Lily had talked to my mother. Later that morning, Lily texted me asking to meet for coffee. The timing was too convenient. I agreed to meet her on Thursday at 2 p.m. I wanted to see her face and gauge her reaction. When we met, Lily looked polished and put together, but I could see the stress in her eyes. She tried to act normal, asking about my well-being and suggesting that I sell the house and downsize. When I mentioned going through Ethan's business records and the consulting fees, Her face palled. She tried to explain that the consulting services were legitimate, but her story didn't add up. I also mentioned the gas leak and the drag marks on the garage floor. Her eyes flickered, and I knew she was the one who tried to break into the cabinet. She offered to help me with the records, but I knew she was just trying to control the narrative. After the meeting, I received an anonymous threat text: "Stop digging through company records. You won't like what you find." I knew it was from Lily. I forwarded the text to Maya and decided to call a lawyer. Mr. Thompson, the one Ethan was supposed to meet. I gathered all the evidence and went to Mr. Thompson's office. He was a middle-aged man with a sharp mind and a non-nonsense attitude. He looked through the evidence and told me that what I had was strong circumstantial evidence, but we needed to open the USB to have ironclad proof. He also showed me that Lily had used the stolen money to buy 2 rental properties through an LLC called RL Holdings. She bought them in our industry using the money embezzled from our company. Mr. Thompson said we could add these properties to the settlement demand. On the day of the settlement meeting, Lily and her lawyer, Mr. Harris, arrived. When Trevor, Lily's husband, walked in as a surprise witness. Lily's face drained of colour. Trevor revealed that Lily had forged his signature on a $95,000 mortgage application. Mr. Thompson presented the evidence methodically: the fake invoices, the forged emails, the bank statements, and the video testimony from Ethan. Lily tried to deny everything at first, but the evidence was overwhelming. After a long, intense negotiation, Lily's lawyer proposed a settlement. She would pay $897,890 in restitution, including the embezzled funds, the partnership buyout, and transfer the 2 rental properties. In exchange, I wouldn't file the criminal complaint. I had to make a difficult decision. 8 to 12 years in prison would destroy Lily's life, but she'd tried to destroy mine. I thought about Ethan, how he'd carried this burden alone for so long to protect me. In the end, I decided to give her one chance. If she missed a single payment, I'd file the criminal charges. Lily signed the settlement papers with a shaking hand. I faced her and told her that she'd not only stolen money, but also tried to destroy me. I told her I didn't forgive her and that I wanted her out of my life. As I walked out of the conference room, my phone buzzed with a text from Mr. Thompson. Payment received. $300,000 at 4:47 p.m. She barely made it. The next 75 days were a blur. I waited for each payment, watching the clock and hoping that Lily would keep her end of the deal. Finally, on the 75th day, Mr. Thompson called to tell me that the final payment had cleared and the properties had been transferred to my name. A week later, my mother came for dinner. She told me that Lily was selling the house and moving to California. She was also attending Gamblers Anonymous meetings. My mother said she'd told Lily that she couldn't have a relationship with her until she took real accountability. I'm still trying to come to terms with what happened. I miss Ethan every day, and I wonder if the stress of dealing with Lily contributed to his heart attack. But I'm also grateful for the strength I've found within myself. I've decided to start a non-profit, the Ethan and Ava Foundation, to help families affected by financial fraud and gambling addiction. Looking back, I've learned that trust must be earned, not assumed. I should have been more vigilant, and I wish Ethan hadn't carried this burden alone. But I'm determined to turn this pain into something positive and ensure that what happened to me never happens to anyone else.